when you take high-tech computer tablets and other gizmos into a home for older people, people with dementia. Apparently, magic is the answer. You might recall something called The Only One Left. That's the title of a fabulous film that we chatted about on the show a year or two ago now. It was the remarkable story of the most lovely man who went to Italy to finally see his dad's grave. His father had died in the Second World War. Well, now the woman who filmed that brilliant project with the Brunswick Nurseries team at Bishopthorpe has turned her hands to something new. Simona Manni from Macchiato Productions has been taking iPads into Morell House, a home for elderly people with dementia in York, and there she, along with Fiona Chapman, who runs Musical Connections, has been helping people to make music and be creative, and I'm very pleased to say that the pair of them are with us in the studio this morning. Simona, good morning.
Hello, hi.
Buongiorno, ciao.
Ciao.
Nice to see you. And Fiona, a very good English morning to you.
Good morning to you too.
Nice to have you both with us. Explain the project. What was the idea? I mean, I've sort of given the very barest of outlines there. Simona.
Yes. Well, the project is called Magical Connections and was born a couple of years ago. What I wanted to do with that was filming creative projects for people living with dementia, focusing on the present and what they enjoy in their daily life. And that was inspired by the fact that my own grandmother was diagnosed with dementia around 15 years ago, and she moved into a care home just recently. And I found that even though her memory was not as good as it used to be, she was still enjoying very much creative activities. And so even though the memory of what has just happened may not be there, the positive feelings, connected to doing creative things, they were still very strong.
Getting that sort of high from doing it.
Exactly. Even though she may not have remembered that she did something just 5 minutes before, she was still very happy about it. So a lot of creative projects around dementia are focused on the past, and though that's useful, it tends to sort of make people feel nostalgic about what it used to be. So I really wanted to create a film about the present life of people with dementia, and in particular what can make them happy and creative.
Fiona, that's quite interesting, isn't it? Because a lot of projects that are aimed at helping people with dementia do rely on this idea that if you can make people with dementia issues connect with events in their early years, their childhood, their teens, their 20s, whatever, that is a sort of a secret to unlocking memories that still do exist, whereas what happened today, earlier this morning or a couple of hours ago, that will go. There seems to be sort of turning it on its head.
Well, yes, it is. And of course that is very important to for people to reconnect with their earlier lives, if you like. But that's not where their lives finish. They're still alive now. They're still living a life now. And so finding ways for them to enjoy living their present life is really important. And music, again, with music, people often think, well, if someone has dementia, they want to sing the old songs because those are the songs that they remember, and they do, of course. We all love the old songs, from our earlier lives. But actually, music is such a powerful thing that it really gives people the opportunity to engage in something now as well. There are so many different types of music, and music is music. So people enjoy rhythm, they enjoy melody. It doesn't have to be something that is familiar to them. It's really something that they can enjoy.
Let's just hear a few seconds of the soundtrack from the film. I've just, if this is all right with you, I've just taken your soundtrack, and we can just hear a little of what's been happening.
It's your first session, isn't it? To the music world. Yeah.
I'll point you towards a link to the film, and this is just a little bit of what you actually filmed in Morell House. It is a delight to watch. It's at the same time as very happy and joyous. It's also very powerful and very moving because you've got the most amazing mix of age groups working together. Can you explain how this happened from tiny tots through sort of teenagers or students all the way through to people who I assume are in their 70s, 80s, 90s and beyond?
Well, I think that quite often when older people move into a care home, it's a bit like the door clangs behind them, and that's that's the end, you know, that they're cut off from the wider community. So when we started the Musical Connections project, we were very keen from the very beginning to try to open those doors again and to bring in people of all ages from the community to get to know the people living in Morell House. And whereas we kind of started with just performances, that wasn't very interactive. So we've developed it over the years in terms of the activities that we use, so that everything we do is very much geared towards the two generations actually interacting and communicating and making music together rather than one side or the other.
What is staggering is, well, not staggering, but it's not like that thing that always happens, which is, you know, the group of kids from the local school parading at Christmas time and make everybody sitting there weep by singing cute little Christmas carols. Yeah. This is people getting on their feet, picking up instruments and all making music and having fun together. It's a group activity. It's not us entertaining them.
No, absolutely not. And it's proving our point, isn't it? That actually, you know, people with dementia really can enjoy the present, and they really can enjoy all sorts of music. And Simi's film totally captures that, and it's something I'm so delighted as somebody who runs the project, because these are things that I've seen for years, but I've not had somebody come along and say, actually, can I film that and can I show it to the rest of the world?
It is a way of sharing, isn't it? It's a way of because we can't all go behind the doors or be there at the events and see them. Tell me about the film and about the challenges of making it.
Yes, so, well, I met Fiona and I went to one of the sessions first without filming. So I went there and I sang and I did the rhythm exercise with the residents, and it was just so full of joy and happiness, and just the mood was so much lifted up by the music, and I thought it would be really great if we could film what's going on here and show it to others. And my approach to filming is participatory, so it means that as much as possible I try to involve participants into taking the camera and filming themselves as well, so not just myself behind the camera. So that's why we got funding to get a number of iPads, and the way we used these iPads was we gave a couple of iPads to these children from the primary school when they came along. No problem whatsoever. They already knew iPads, familiar with it. No. They just went off on their own and they filmed. And then we also gave the iPads to the residents, and they filmed some bits and pieces while the music was going on. And we also tried to encourage them to interview each other. So in the film, in the long version, you will see that one of the resident, Mike, he interviews the other ladies about what do you like about music, what's your favourite music, and that was to encourage the interaction.
What's the reaction of somebody who is somewhere like Morell House, who probably doesn't get their hands at all, rarely or if ever, on technology like an iPad that, you know, costs an awful lot of money, and you need someone to steer you as to how to use it? What's the reaction when you put something like that in someone's hands and say, OK, you're the cameraman now, you film it?
Well, first of all, not much explanation was needed. They just saw that they could see the space around them through the iPads, and they started to move it around. They really loved the selfie mode, so when I would push the selfie mode, and they could see themselves and me on the other side, they would really love that. But also the iPads had a number of creative apps that weren't to do with filming, so I downloaded these apps in which you can touch the screen and images are coming out, or different sounds, and again, no explanation needed. They would just start to interact, and they really loved it. So the project was filming the music sessions, but also donating these iPads so that they can enjoy creative activities in their own time when the music sessions are not on. So that was the aim of the project.
Fiona, this takes it a whole leap further, really, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
I mean, if someone were to say to you, let's take technology like this into a home which is, you know, specifically for people with dementia, people would look at you and say, is there any point in doing that? And I think probably Simona's film is living, breathing proof. Of course there
is point. Absolutely. I think that the again, yes, people do think, well, what's the point? If people are losing their cognitive skills, why give them something new? But actually, I've seen time and time again that actually people with dementia are really curious about all kinds of new things, you know, and they're interested in learning about things. People with dementia often respond in a very instinctive way to things, and iPads are very intuitive. So it was a marriage made in heaven, really. And I've watched and I've been in with Simi, not doing the music, but actually playing around with the iPads, and I've seen how curious and interested people are and how engaged they are.
Have they come up with good footage for you to use in the film?
Yeah, it was good. We used quite a few shots from Mike. I think Mike was again a key figure in filming, and some other images in selfie mode of me and a lady when she was moving the iPads up and down and noticing how the shape of her face would change if the iPad was close or far from her. So we didn't even call them iPad. I would just say, would you like to try this? Just not to use jargon that could confuse people. Why call them iPad after all? So they were camera or books according to what we were doing. And
it's a brilliant
it was a lot of
idea.
fun.
It's a brilliant idea. I've seen the cut down version, the short version. Are people going to get the chance to see the true version of this?
Yes, so the event in which we're going to screen the film is on Tuesday, 28th of March, so next week, and it's from 1 to around 3 p.m. And we're going to show the film. The final version is around 20 minutes, but we're also going to have live music including the residents' performances as well. So a number of residents from Morel would be there, and it's at Clements Hall. And there would be the iPads so that people can try these apps if they're interested in seeing how they work. And there will also be Italian food.
Of course. Oh, well, there we are. If we weren't going to come and see the film, we'll come and eat your Italian food. Great to see you both this morning. Congratulations on it seems like a marriage made in heaven, the two projects with Simona's filming skills and the Musical Connections project getting together, and to be able to share it in the form of a film with lots of other people. You're going to stick it on YouTube or a Facebook page or something like that, so those who can't make it along?
Yes, definitely. It would be published. It was supported by Joseph Rowntree Foundation, by the way, and they will also help disseminating the film through other dementia organisations that are interested. So it should be easy to watch it online.
I think it's going to be another first for York, and people say, look what they're doing in York, aren't they clever there? Great idea. Lovely to see you both. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for coming on.